Tommy Oldham here. So this video will be included on one of the Story of the Blues vlogs, but I do believe it deserves its own, basically, video. So now we know it's been announced that the National League Cup will begin in October. Now this was first proposed last season. Now the irony of it is, last year the FA announced that from the FA Cup first round proper onwards, there'd be no more replays. So if any game at 90 minutes would go extra time and penalties. Their argument was we're using fixture congestion. And apparently the National League backed it. Now, I'm against it. I believe replays were a big part, or at least until maybe the fourth round. But their argument was to use the examples of both Halifax and Oldham and Gateshead, who fell behind with big fixtures and having to squeeze them at the end, and other teams further down the pyramid. And to be fair, that was understandable. But then he announced there's going to be a new National League Cup involving Premier League teams, under 21 sides, and the top 16 National League teams. Now, we've been through this before with a Checker Trade Trophy in the FL. I remember I didn't do a lot of games. I think I did one off the top, maybe that was the Everton one, and Anthony Gordon played. We won 3-2. But at the end of the day, cups are magical. Cups create memories. Who can remember some of our greatest cup runs under Joe Royal? We had the League Cup run under Ian Dowie. Brian Talbot when we beat Man City and Scotty Vernon scored. Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, Everton. I know Everton went to replay, but we lost to it. But he went to Goodison after holding them at home. Fulham under Pete Wild. Now the problem is, alright, let's say this year we get Man United. We've actually got them as the under 21s in this tournament, but we draw at home and we lose. We get hammered in extra time. We could have had a replay and made money playing at Old Trafford. But it's alright, we'll play them at home or we'll play Stoke at home in an under-21s tournament in front of a couple of 500 people and make peanuts. Yeah, this tournament is about the Premier League. It's about money, the National League jumping into bed with the Premier League, and the Premier League still looking at trying to get their reserve teams into our pyramid. Now, it may work in Germany. They don't like it. I know in the third division they've got a couple. Italy, they've tried to. In Spain, it does in other countries. But in England, we have our own unique structure. We have a pyramid. We have plenty of teams. We don't need to play Premier League Academy reserve teams. But what makes this competition actually even more remarkably funny is not all 16 teams are Premier League teams. So the Premier League teams that are in it include Brighton and Fulham, Southampton, Newcastle, Manchester United, Wolverhampton, Nottingham Forest, Spurs and West Ham. So basically, what that means is like Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Brentford haven't entered teams into this and have replaced them with Championship sides Blackburn, Stoke, Sunderland, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Leeds and League One Reading. Now in Oldham's group, we've got Blackburn, Rovers, Manchester United, Stoke and Wolves under 21s, plus Altrincham, Forest Green, Oldham and Rochdale. So apart from Forest Green, they're all relatively local, and apparently it's a 7 o'clock kickoff. That's something I don't mind, 7 o'clock kickoffs. I've called for that for a long time. That's just me being me. Now this tournament starts in October and it ends in April. Basically there'll be groups, 4 groups of 8 teams, and the top 2 will go through. So 2 from the Premier League side and 2 from the National League teams into a 16-team knockout. But the question is it going to be seeded? Is it an open draw? So could we face the National League side? Will it be, I suspect it'll probably be the top sides from the National League of the National League teams for the second place under 21 side, the top under 21 side for the second place National League side. But again, all our games are at home. These aren't going to play games at home. Do you really think there's money in it for the likes of Blackburn or United to play their academy games at home? Most teams play them at alternative venues anyway. Also, where's the final going to be? Surely the prestige of a cup competition is knowing where the final's going to be. You can get excited about, not just picking a venue here and there. Now, what makes it even more funny is 4 National League sides have not took the places up. So Barnet, Eastleigh, Solihull and Southend are not taking part. So Dagenham, Wealdstone, Woking and Ebbsfleet have took the place. Now, it is about money because we are going to make some money out of it. But it'll end up costing more when you think of like stewarding, floodlight costs and all that. I can't see there being big demand for this. Some fans are welcomed it. Don't wrong, I like extra games. This level, the National League, before Oldham came into it, there was once the Bob Lord Trophy, and then there was that Santa Shield, which had teams from the National League, what it was called the Conference North, Conference South. And something like that was probably better, even if it was more of a knockout cup. But let's not also forget, I think these games were played on International Week. Now, some of these academies will have players playing for like international youth sides like England, Ireland, Scotland. If they lose a few players, will the game be called off? If the game gets called off, will the National League prioritise it ahead of a rearranged National League game? Also, some of these academies, teams, stockpile on youngsters in academies. So it may not even be the first choice academy players. It could be a team of fringe academy players. It could be just a few youngsters, and it's just one of these. I'm all for football. I'm all for developing football. Yes, we can play our fringe players, you Reed, Norman, Hogan, Sutton, players that aren't really getting a sniff in. I do believe there does need to be a level of competitive football to bridge the gap between reserve team football and first team football, and academy football and first team football for the kids. But this isn't the way to go about it. I'd rather us playing a competitive Manchester Premier Cup or Manchester Senior Cup, where at least there is that level of competitive, since a cup that's local non-league sides. But at the end of the day, again, this is no consideration for the fans. I'm not going to tell anyone to boycott it because it's your choice. I'm not going to rush to go to it. I've already had the odd United fans say to me, oh, they may bring the kid, or it's nice that United are playing in Oldham. But half them kids are going to look and be gutted when they realise it's not the first team. But it's however you engage and take this tournament on. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of banners this weekend from fans saying no to it. The smaller teams like your Tamworth, Braintrees, they may look at it with a different perspective. But I suspect if they're battling to stay in this division, they won't be rushing out to put it to list their priorities. And why would the TV cameras show games where there's literally going to be one man and his dog there? Anyway, that's my take on it, and I suspect there's many other fans who share similar opinions to that of me as well. I know the Oldham Supporters Foundation have asked fans to sell any feedback, criticism, to let them know, and they are going to put it to Darren Royal and the rest of the board. Premier League really want to be helpful. Change the rules to allow us to have kept our academy, to retain it, to retain our funding. So instead of having a development squad, we can still keep youngsters and allow them a pathway to get into our first team without it putting a strain on the club. Finances, yeah, you may see the odd player and think, oh, we can pick him up on loan, but good scouting networks would spot a player anyway for me where they're playing competitive football. And again, it just shows what the football is, where the Premier League seems to be saying jump and the rest of the league's saying how high at the moment. And it's frustrating for football fans, because all football fans want is some sort of level playing field, a good, decent structure. We don't want to be puppets. We don't want to be basically hanging by a thread. If more money was filtered through the football pyramid, more clubs could develop their own players instead of them being cherry-picked and sold on for less than half the value. Clubs could retain players on better contracts, and it makes teams more competitive because they can build on teams. Teams can stick together and they can grow and develop them and have a better chance of pushing for promotion. Where we have this system now where a team goes up and then a good player gets cherry-picked too quickly, or they finish in this division second and third, and that's it, the players have gone. And it once again proves this is where an independent regulator, which I know UEFA are now having a go at, needs to be brought in to look at all this lot. Anyway, that's my take on the new National League Cup, and it's up to 14 minutes long, so whether I may do a reduced version of it in one of the blogs next week. So I'm Tommy Oldham, see you on the terraces.